housing is a human right. If you think speech should be censored, but housing is a human right, you might be a Democrat. Abolishing ICE, Medicare. I feel like a sense of like, what's it called, disassociation when I watch my old videos, because it doesn't even feel like it's me anymore. Like this doesn't even feel like I'm watching myself. I cannot believe that was actually me. I'm like dumbfounded.
A federal jobs guarantee will establish a public option for employment so that no person who is looking for a job has to go without one. This public option for employment will also establish a $15 minimum wage pegged to inflation, as well as paid health care on the job and paid family and sick leave.
Now, if it's not already obvious how this appeals to the most entitled losers, she also wants to raise them in. Huh? Yep, guys. Amen. This is what entitlement looks like. Wanting a job. I think it's time for one of our all-time favorite animes, Hunter versus Hunter. That's right, I haven't done that in a while, eh? What's up? Today we're gonna watch me looking, oh man, I should probably fix my hair before I show my old self so I don't look like I had a glow down. As you can see, I really hate this YouTuber. He's very annoying. He also is really ugly. So let's go ahead and find out what dumb shit he's gonna say today. This video called Dear Millennials, posted 4 years ago. So yeah, a little bit older, I acknowledge it, but you know what? We're good to go. I still have that shirt also, and I still look great in it. What's up, comrades? It's your favorite communist, Hunter Avallone here, back with another family-friendly video. Foreshadowing. Ooh, spooky. Today I am speaking to my generation, a millennial generation full of trigger warnings and entitlement. So millennials didn't see that coming at all. You know how trigger warnings are so annoying, everybody? Unironically getting more triggered over trigger warnings than people who were triggered without trigger warnings. Hunter, take your shirt off, please. You're gonna have to donate a hell of a lot more than that, bitch, for me to do that. Before you call me a word ending in phobe, hear me out. Now, I was born in 1996, so sadly I just make the dreaded millennial label. And as a no, I'm a Zoomer. I've been in denial about my millennial status for a couple years now. I can't believe I actually confessed this before. No, I'm a hello, fellow Zoomers. I'm a Zoomer like you. TikTok is a good app. When I hear TikTok, I don't think of a song by Kesha. I think of the app. I'm like, you Zoomers, what's up? Seasoned millennial, I can tell my millennial label. And as a seasoned millennial, I can tell my fellow millennials, you hoes gotta stop. Stop with the triggering, stop with the entitlement, and for the love of iPhones and air conditioning, stop embracing socialism. Oh, I knew that was gonna come. As soon as I heard myself say air conditioning and iPhones, I was like, oh, here comes the socialism joke. My shit feels like it was written by an AI back in the day, dude. This feels like an AI wrote a conservative video. I will be penning an open letter to millennials everywhere. So without further ado, I present to you, Dear Millennials. Now, before we go any further, this video is sponsored. Hey, I had a sponsor. How cool. Yo, what a good old days, man. Describe how downhill millennials have gone is to introduce you to the new face, not only of the Democratic Party, LOL, but of millennials as well. Introducing Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. Did I say it right? If we could take millennial IQ scores, entitlement, and the brain of a guy who's done heroin for the last 20 years, and use that information to create one single millennial, we'd get Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. Am I saying it correctly? Cortez embodies... I don't get it. I don't know. I guess I just don't get the humor of this guy, you know? He's kind of throwing me off here. Like, what? Why is it funny that I'm saying her name weird? I just don't get it. Everything wrong with millennials, and more. Now, if you don't know who Cortez is, she is a socialist who recently won a congressional seat. But Hunter had no filter. I still have no filter. This is the thing, too. I hate when people are like, dude, Hunter used to be more brutal. Hunter used to have no filter. I'm like, have you listened to me talk now? I never got a filter, okay? But wait, it gets so much worse. She ran on the platform of a universal jobs guarantee. Housing is a human right. If you think speech should be censored, but housing is a human right, you might be a Democrat. Abolishing ICE, Medicare for... Huh? What does speech and housing even have to do with each other? I feel like a sense of like, what's it called, disassociation when I watch my old videos, because it doesn't even feel like it's me anymore. Like this doesn't even feel like I'm watching myself. I cannot believe that was actually me. I'm like dumbfounded. What am I saying?
For all, but housing is a human right, you might be a Democrat. Abolishing
Also,
ICE,
when did Cortez say anything about free speech? Was she even against that?
Medicare for all, and fully funded public schools and universities.
Days.
So in short, a platform of Uncle Sam is my sugar daddy. Cortez is very skilled in appealing to the
Not really, actually. Quite the opposite. A universal jobs guarantee. You're talking about people working. It's funny because I think there should be a housing guarantee now. At least from a social democrat standpoint, I think that there should absolutely be some form of bare minimum housing that's provided to virtually everybody. And then if you want to go and work hard and make a bunch of money and get a nicer, bigger house, you can still do that. I think that there's nothing wrong with having profit incentive for some houses, but I think that there needs to be a base level of housing that is provided to everybody, and then they can work from there if they want. Basically provide a better starting point for people. So no, it's not Uncle Sam is my sugar daddy at all. It would actually be the opposite, because you're talking about more people working, more people having houses. If more people are having homes, then obviously they're going to have a better chance getting a job, and then they're participating with the economy more, and then that's benefiting everybody. So it's literally the opposite. They would be benefiting the economy, not mooching off of it.
lowest common denominator and saying exactly what her base of brainless morons want to hear. Challenge to a debate? Accuse them of catcalling. You just won
Oh
the
yeah, I remember that one. That was kind of dumb.
feminist vote. Pressed on unemployment? Yeah, unemployment is probably down because everyone has 2 jobs.
The numbers that you just talked about is part of the problem, right? Because we look at these figures and we say, oh, unemployment is low, everything is fine, right? Well, unemployment is low because everyone has 2 jobs.
This, of course, hilariously untrue according to PolitiFact. I personally don't think Cortez should be running in any political race. The only race she should be running in is a race in the Special Olympics. This woman not only thrives by appealing to the lowest common denominator.
This is so unfunny. Man, this is actually painful to watch. I was expecting more entertainment. It's funny because I still have like a similar sense of humor, but I feel like I make jokes like this now once it's a little bit more earned. I would definitely still make a joke kind of like that, for sure. But it would be at a point that I feel like it's earned. I don't feel like I've done anything to earn the insults that are laced in this video thus far. It's just kind of like I'm saying she's dumb, but not really explaining why.
But by avoiding answering key questions on how exactly she plans on paying for all of her policies, estimated around $40 trillion over the next 10 years. She was pushed on CNN and responded with a bunch of fluffy nothingness, which you'll find she does quite often whenever she's asked a tough question.
$40 trillion is quite a bit of money, and the taxes that you talked about raising to pay for this, to pay for your agenda, only count for 2. And we're going by left-leaning analysts.
Right. Well, when you look again at how our healthcare works, currently we pay much of these costs go into the private sector. So what we see is, for example, a year ago, I was working downtown in a restaurant. I went around and I asked how many of you folks have health insurance. Not a single person did. And additionally, what this is a broader agenda. We do know and we acknowledge that there are political realities. They don't always happen with just the wave of a wand, but we can work to make these things happen. And in fact, when you look at the economic activity that it spurs, for example, if you look at my generation, millennials, the amount of economic activity that we do not engage in, it is an external.
Hey, why does it keep cutting? She's not just saying a bunch of nothingness. She's actually making a fair argument here, and it's cutting. Why is it cutting? Did I cut it this way, or was this just like a clip I downloaded or something? Dude, this is totally dishonest editing or something. She's not just saying a bunch of fluff. What she's getting at, granted, it is kind of a lot of words, but what she's getting at least it seems like, is this is going to cost money, but even if we have to pay for it with, say, tax dollars or something, it's going to bring a net benefit to the economy overall. And by providing some of these things, it will actually spur more economic activity and economic growth, thus paying for itself over time. It sounds like that's what she's saying. Am I just like, see, here's the thing though. I look at this now and I'm like, am I just too charitable now to the other side? Or does it just make sense to me now because I'm already on that side? Like, this is dishonest though, for sure.
If you will, of unprecedented amounts of student loan debt.
I'm assuming I'm not going to get an answer for the other $38 trillion.
Well, now you've met the face of millennials. So let's go ahead and get into my open letter. Dear millennials, stop being so entitled. The world doesn't owe you anything. This country doesn't owe you anything. The only thing that owes you anything is you. You owe yourself a realistic view of this world and an understanding that Big Daddy government isn't going to swoop in and take care of you because you decided to major in gender studies or drop out of high school to start a band. Despite this cold hard fact, it's not too surprising that Cortez was so popular. With the rise of entitlement among millennials, Cortez appeals to just that. First of all, she's a socialist. A recent Gallup poll found that 51% of young Americans now have a favorable view of socialism. Again, it's not—
See, it's so funny because I look at that now and it doesn't tell me that people are entitled. It tells me that something's wrong with the economy right now. What the hell is going on for people then? Why are people so unsatisfied with capitalism right now? Maybe there are certain policies that do need to change. Maybe there are certain policies we can put in place that are technically socialist policies, but that might ultimately bring on a benefit for society. That's the kind of approach I would take now when I see a stat like that. Not this like, well, it's just because everybody's entitled. It's literally just like making up the answer as to why people are more supportive of this thing.
Not the government's job to help you out of a tough situation you're almost certainly responsible for. It's also not the fault of some rich guy that you're poor. You are not entitled to government—
what if you're not? What if you're born into poverty?
Subsidies or anyone else's money. It's real of some rich guy that you're poor. You are not entitled to government subsidies or anyone else's money. It's really quite frightening how popular—
Depends. You could be entitled to government subsidies depending on how poor you are or anything else. Again, the government should, to a certain extent and degree, of course, take care of its citizens and its population. I mean, it already does this with firefighters and police officers, for example. They're paid by our tax dollars, and then they go on and they keep society safe to a degree, or at least try to. And so we already see this happening in many other ways. True that like not everybody's just entitled to subsidies, and obviously no one's entitled to other people's money. The rich people should be paying their taxes because they have made that money through the economy in this country. So they should be giving some back, which can then go back to benefiting other people in society. Because when all of society functions better and smoothly, it benefits everyone, including the rich people.
Socialism is becoming among millennials or anyone else's money. It's really quite frightening how popular socialism is becoming among millennials. I mean, come on guys, can we get a favorable view of common sense? Please? If you're
Did I actually just say that? Oh my god. Holy crap, this hurts badly. Did I just say common sense unironically in this video? I thought I wasn't this bad. I thought I was better. I wasn't this dumb. This is just horrifying right now. Did I just say common sense?
struggling with student loans, not having a job, or not having a place to live, socialism, more government, is not the answer. The answer is personal responsibility. As soon as you acknowledge—
What if you can't take personal responsibility because of certain economic factors or certain social barriers or whatnot that are outside of your control? What if you're born into a poor neighborhood where you don't have good access to good schools or good healthcare or anything of the sort? How are you going to take personal responsibility then when it wasn't because of lack of personal responsibility that you're even in that situation? Now, don't get me wrong. Taking personal responsibility and working as hard as you can to better your own life is something I've never stopped advocating for, and I will continue to advocate for that because that's important. But these things are not at odds. You can recognize larger problems, economic issues. Why are people so favorable towards socialism? Why are people so having such a hard time right now with this capitalist system? These are the kinds of questions that are more valuable to be asking here.
That you are in is not the answer. The answer is—
And also, they're not at odds either. You can recognize that there are certain social structures or systems at play that are perhaps creating barriers for you, and also still take personal responsibility and do the best you can. These are not at odds.
Personal responsibility. As soon as you acknowledge that you are in control of your own choices, and you are responsible for the consequences those choices create, you can begin to make better choices without demanding the government give you someone else's money to help you get by. Despite today's strong economy, many young Americans are struggling to make ends meet. That's because wages are not keeping up as day-to-day costs continue to soar. Alyssa Court tells CNBC, Stop blaming yourself and start blaming the system, or start blaming the deeper causes of your economic fragility and instability. There are forces that are constructed against you. Everything from your taxes to whether you can have job security. Wrong. Start blaming yourself. This pathetic
ape and I should go F myself.
That did sound a little bit extreme on AOC's part, but again, I have a feeling my response is going to be just as equally extreme.
Thing from your taxes to whether you can have job security. Wrong. Start blaming yourself. This pathetic cop-out only creates more entitlement. The sooner you realize you are causing your own
entitlement, though, if you're not being treated fairly at your job or something, or if you don't have job security.
Economic problems, the sooner you can change your behavior and begin making better decisions. I agree taxes suck, but this mentality only creates more entitlement and ultimately more failure. Let's not play the victim here. Let's not pretend there are mystical forces keeping us poor millennials down. In almost every conceivable
There are not mystical forces. There are certain economic changes, though, that have definitely made it much more difficult to succeed in this country. Look at the rate of inflation compared to the rate of pay. Look at these things and the way that they've changed. Look at the cost of living and the way that it's continued to go up. But yet people are not always being compensated to accommodate for that. There are absolutely struggles and things at play that makes succeeding far more difficult than it was previously in this country. This is just true. Why are so many millennials living with their parents? Why are so many millennials more broke, more depressed? There are obviously issues here, and it's got to be something deeper than just entitlement, because not everybody is entitled. Even the people who aren't entitled are still struggling sometimes. So they're not mystical forces. I'm phrasing it like that as almost like a straw man. Yeah, they're not mystical, but there are certain systems at play that can sometimes make it more difficult for people to succeed in this day and age.
Cortez appeals to the entitlement among millennials.
1. A federal jobs guarantee. A federal jobs guarantee will establish a public option for employment so that no person who is looking for a job has to go without one. This public option for employment will also establish a $15 minimum wage pegged to inflation, as well as paid health care on the job and paid family and sick leave.
Now, if it's not already obvious how this appeals to the most entitled losers, she also wants to raise the minimum.
Huh? Yep, guys. Amen. This is what entitlement looks like. Wanting a job. These darn millennials nowadays, they actually want a job. They want to go work. They want to go make money. Ah, the entitlement of these fucking depraved kids. Darn. Ugh. Damn, Hunter, you used to be somewhat smart. What the hell happened? Will, if you join my Discord, I will make you cry within 5 minutes.
Minimum wage to $15 an hour. First of all, I'm not really sure how it would benefit the economy to just give everyone a job. This sounds almost as stupid as suggesting we just print more money. Plus, raising the minimum.
How would it benefit the economy if we gave everyone a job? Yeah, sure, not everyone a job, but the economy benefits when more people are working because then there's more money being made. Then there's more money to be spent. There's more tax dollars being paid back. What are you talking about? What? Dude, I was actually fucking retarded.
Minimum wage to $15. This sounds almost as stupid as suggesting we just print more money. Plus, raising the minimum wage to $15.
Printing more money would literally have a detrimental effect on the economy. More people having jobs has the opposite effect. It has a benefit for the economy. These aren't comparable at all. Who was helping me with it? Was anybody even helping me with this shit back then?
Improved and expanded Medicare for all.
Oh, please let me hear how this is bad. Please let me hear how only people that have good personal responsibility and lots of money should get medical help.
For all, lowering copays, and expanding the system so that every American has the opportunity to buy into Medicare.
Free, free, free! I know this sounds fantastic, but hold your hats, entitled millennials. Medicare for all is an absolute disastrous idea. Liberals love to.
Did she say Medicare for all or Medicaid?
Into Medicare.
Free, free!
And expanding the system so that every American has the opportunity.
Improved and expanded Medicare for all. She's not talking about universal health care, right? Isn't she talking about Medicare? Like, it's it's more easily accessed?
To buy into Medicare.
Free, free, free! I know this sounds fantastic, but hold your hats, entitled millennials. Medicare for all is an absolute disastrous idea. Liberals love to paint conservatives against Medicare for all as evil, heartless monsters who want people to die. In reality, being against Medicare.
You can be against the actual policy of universal healthcare, which is pretty extreme and unlikely to have much success in being elected. But you can also recognize that having profit incentives when it comes to medical attention is a really, really dangerous route to take. And it's been failing Americans everywhere. When people get cancer, they go bankrupt. We shouldn't live in a fucking country like that. You can recognize both things. You can recognize that universal healthcare, by the actual policy universal healthcare, is probably not a very good one and probably wouldn't work. But expanding Medicare, having a public option, these things are great ideas.
Medicare for all is one of the most compassionate things you can do. Let me ask you this, and actually think about it. Do you really want the government controlling your medicine? Do you really want the government to have the right to decide whether they give you treatment or not?
That's what insurance companies do right now. What? Dude, insurance companies can decide you're not eligible for stuff. Do you really want the government deciding this? Do you really want a private company deciding that because you don't make enough money every year that they're not going to give you fucking chemotherapy? Is that what you want? Oh man. You should be racing in the Special Olympics right now.
Alfie Evans as a good example. Alfie was a
Okay, we already know this story. Tragic
Also
story
know that
about
I
it.
am an ape and I should go F myself.
Tragic story, universal healthcare thing. They wouldn't cover the baby's treatment and the baby died and it was really sad. But that
also know
literally
that I am
happens in
an
America
ape
with
and I
insurance
should go
companies
F
as well.
myself.
So it's literally just like so stupid to try to like make this sound like it's an issue for this. It could be just as much an issue with current insurance companies.
Do you really want the government to decide who lives and dies? Maybe the doctors think your illness is terminal. Shouldn't you still have the right to pursue treatment? Secondly,
Yeah, you should. You're going to have a better chance with that than an insurance company that says you're fucking terminal. So we're just going to be wasting money trying to save you and you're probably not going to make it. What do you mean?
from an economic standpoint, Medicare for all would result in less than perfect quality, also harming the consumer. Thanks to capitalism, healthcare corporations need to compete against each other for the best quality product and the lowest prices.
This really isn't even true. It's not competing against each other either, and they don't have the best quality. You don't go to different doctors with better quality or lower prices or anything. A doctor is either covered by your insurance or it's not. They're not competing for the best care because they're all covered by the same insurance usually. This is so wrong in every way. Now, because of this, we have more better healthcare because they're all competing with each other. This is just a lie. I'm literally just, I sound like a fucking boomer right now in this video.
Thanks to capitalism, the consumer gets the best of both worlds. Dear millennials, grow up.
Wow, that was a really bad rant, Hunter. You did not make much sense in that one.
Dear millennials, grow up. If my generation of millennials aren't sitting around like a bunch of baby birds in a nest, waiting for the government to come home with a worm, they're being ridiculously sensitive instead. Watch this. Islam isn't peaceful, women aren't oppressed, Trump is your president, and Starbucks is overrated. I just triggered.
Oh my god! Starbucks is not overpriced, yes. Overrated, no. This is egregious. Oh my god. I thought I was a retard before. I'm hopeless. There's no hope for me. How did I ever change? Oh my god. Now that I've fully embraced my millennial status, I'm deeply offended by the Starbucks comment. Yeah. Everything else though is generally true, I think, right? Let me go back.
At least peaceful. Women home with a worm, they're being ridiculously
Let's see if we
sensitive
agree.
instead. Watch this. Islam isn't peaceful. Women
True. Yeah, for the most part. Yeah, true.
aren't oppressed. Trump
True. I don't think women are oppressed. I still think women face unique challenges and obstacles, though, that need to be talked about, but I don't think those obstacles amount to oppression.
is your president, and Starbucks is overrated.
Well, Trump was the president at the time. That's true. Starbucks. Oh, I cannot believe it. If I ever hear a Java chip frappe disrespected again, I'm going to have to go full fucking meltdown mode.
Triggered at least 30 millennials. Oh, fuck. According to The Guardian, the 2016 election left some students with PTSD symptoms. What? How do millennials always manage to take it to the next extreme so quickly? There's no buffer room. There's no time to process this, time to think this through. Nope, you didn't get your way, and now you have PTSD. That escalated quickly. Can you just imagine being a millennial like this?
I'm
You walk into
so getting PTSD from watching this video. Oh, I'm getting PTSD from watching this video. It also is really funny watching me mock people for getting really stressed out and concerned about the whole Trump election thing. And then we had Trump as president and we saw what happened. We saw how it amounted to the disaster that was January 6th. We saw the way he behaved as president. We've seen the various different scandals he's now involved in. It's insane to watch me here mocking people for being upset and concerned about the Trump thing, and now to look back with the 2020 hindsight vision and say, damn, dude, I should have been a lot more stressed out about that Trump election because Trump was fucking bad news for this country. PTSD is still a little bit extreme, though, I'm not gonna lie.
Movie theater with your friend, and one of your friends is like, yeah, man, this movie's hilarious. And you're just like, hilarious. Hillary lost. Does everything give these sensitive
I feel like I could have come up with a better skit than that.
babies PTSD nowadays? Okay, so I'm really excited to go to Starbucks today. I think I'm in need of therapy. What we were interested in seeing
Wait, what just happened? Huh?
nowadays. Okay, so I'm really excited to go to Starbucks today.
I stubbed my toe? Also, really, another L, Hunter? Really? As if I haven't taken enough L's with this video, now I'm mocking therapy too? Oof.
I think I'm in need of therapy! What we were interested in seeing was, did the election for some people constitute a traumatic experience? And we found that it did, for 25% of young adults. You know, maybe I take back my original point. Maybe Medicare for All is good, so these loons can finally get some therapy. And no, not to help them cope with the election, to help them cope with being such a sack of shit. Quarter of students surveyed at Arizona State University.
I'm being such an asshole in this video, and there's really no reason for it. It's literally just been me being a dick for 14 minutes at this point.
Showed stress levels comparable to those of a mass shooting witness. This is like the giving tree. It just keeps on giving. I saw my friend get shot in school. I have PTSD. Well, the robotic rich white woman funded by super PACs lost the election. So I have PTSD also. Yeah, unless you
He also
witnessed a
noted that I
shooting
am
or
an
fought in
ape and I
Vietnam.
should go F myself.
Oh no, I'm about to say something real stupid here.
Election. So I have PTSD also. Yeah,
He also
unless
noted
you
that I am
witnessed a
an ape
shooting
and I
or
should go
fought in
F myself.
Vietnam, just shut the fuck up about your PTSD. The only
Uh-oh, I'm really misunderstanding PTSD there. Oof. Getting hurt or seeing people hurt or killed, feeling horror, helplessness, or extreme fear, having little or no social support, exposure to previous traumatic experiences, particularly during childhood, harassed or bullied, including racism, sexism, homophobia, or transphobia, and other types of abuse targeting your identity can cause PTSD. If people felt targeted from Trump, that could have actually contributed there. So yeah, this just shows like a really yikesy misunderstanding of PTSD. Unless you've gone to Vietnam, that's such bullshit. You can get PTSD from being in a really bad relationship. Like, this is a huge misunderstanding of mental health here, and really thankful that I'm not like this anymore.
PTSD you have is pussified twats sunk in denial. It's become
Oh my god, this is worse than it keeps getting worse. I can't even laugh because I'm just so embarrassed because it's me. Why does it have to be me? Why, God?
painfully obvious that so many millennials cannot handle living in the real world. It's delusional to think that
I
socialism
couldn't handle living in the real world, it seems. I'm in denial about the fact that there's clearly something wrong with capitalism when so many people are unsatisfied with shit. I'm in denial about claiming its entitlement to want a job. I'm the one in denial here.
will solve your problems. It's a fairy tale to think that Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez is going to fulfill your entitled wishes. And it's a grave reality that so many millennials cannot even handle losing an election without developing PTSD. Here's a final word of advice for
Yeah, I do have conservative PTSD. Oh my god.
millennials everywhere. Grow up, move out, and realize that the world does not revolve around you. The world doesn't owe you anything, and life never turns out the way you want it to. Developing PTSD as a result is
Amen, dude. Good talk. Thank you, Hunter. Life never turns out the way you want it to, okay? Grow a fucking pair. Suck it up. Is anybody at all surprised to know that at the time when I was making videos like this, I was also simultaneously going through times in my own personal life where I was incredibly stressed out and miserable and depressed, and overall just had very little like self-esteem and a strong foundation for myself even at the time? Is anybody really shocked that my videos where I was so callous and just quite frankly acting like a dick, where it was like unwarranted, I was also personally going through a lot of my own personal shit? Like, it's so unsurprising when you know what I was dealing with personally at the time with like my own mental well-being and whatnot, and then the type of behavior exhibited here in these kinds of videos. It's kind of sad and mostly just disappointing.
is not only laughable, it's a waste of time. Expecting government handouts is not only counterproductive, it sets you up for failure as well. Stop being entitled, ditch your unrealistic expectations, and work for the things you want instead of waiting.
It's an unrealistic expectation, by the way, that you can just go and like work hard and work your way out of a broken system or a broken economic system necessarily.
for them to be handed to you. Please give this video a like, comment below, and subscribe to my channel. I'll see you all soon. Peace.
Oh my gosh. Dear Hunter Avallone from 2018, shut the fuck up. Please, please, please. Dear Hunter Avallone from 2018, shut up and stop talking. Oh, I have never experienced pain like this. Now I finally know what women go through when they give birth.